Hi there, today I want to talk to you about reptile words. In Esperanto, there are some words that, in one sense, do mean an animal, alligator, crocodile, etc. But they also have separate meanings that don't make any sense as to why they do this, but they also refer to some form of speaking one type of language in this type of situation to these type of speakers, etc. I don't know why that is. I tried to research the history of it, couldn't get a straight answer, but we're not here to discuss why it is, we're just to discuss what these words mean. Only one of these is really internationally known, and that is krokodili, okay? The others are not commonly used, but maybe they'll pick up in popularity someday, and you will know what they mean by coming here. Also, another reason I wanted to talk about them is just because as nouns, as reptiles, I want you to understand what these words would be. Some are easier than others. Crocodili, crocodilo means a crocodile. That one's pretty easy, but some are a little more difficult. So let's learn them just because, all right? Maybe you'll win a trivia contest someday because of this video. First off is krokodili. Krokodili means speaking your native language when Esperanto is more appropriate. Pli taŭgas. I ran out of room to do that in English. So is more appropriate is pli taŭgas. A lot of times beginners are a little nervous about using Esperanto, so they'll constantly be like, hey, what's the word for this? What's the word for that? You know, okay, at least say, kio estas la vorto por... You know, do as much as you can in Esperanto, dude. Don't just take the easy way. Let's kick those training wheels off as soon as we can, okay? And use them as seldom as possible. So just remember, paroli krokodile will delay your Esperanto learning. Speaking crocodile-like will slow you down when you're trying to learn Esperanto. Another thing to remember is kroko. It looks kind of like coco, like coquino, a chicken. Don't be chicken. Branch out and try using this Esperanto language. It's sad that people will fly, drive, go, spend all this money to go to an Esperanto event, and then they spend over half the time not even using Esperanto. Like, that's why you're here. Come on. La komencantoj ofte krokodilas dum nask. The beginners often crocodile during nask. There's usually a table of, oh, this must be the crocodile table because you're all in the beginning class and you're not even trying to speak Esperanto right now because your brain is fried from the class you just spent 3 hours in. I understand. But let's try to, lessen that each day. So that's the only one that's really important to know. Krokodili, to crocodile. Internationally, that one is fairly accepted and useful. These ones, not so much, but we're going to learn them anyway. Next is alligatori. That means to alligator. So alligatoro is an alligator. That one is also pretty easy to keep track of. Alligatori means speaking not English. And when I say English in these, I mean your native language. If you're watching these videos, that probably is English. Speaking not English, not Esperanto, but another language in an Esperanto situation. That is to alligator. So vi alligatoras kiam vi parolas alian lingvon. So you alligator, when you speak another language, ali and ali, say alian, other, it's additional language, a third language. That's one way to remember it. Alligatorejo is a room or event at an Esperanto meetup that is for practicing speaking other languages, okay, in the Esperanto world. So if you go to certain events like the International Unulara Congreso, the International Youth Congress, they often have these alligator rooms, the alligator places, where you can go in there, you get a name tag that has a list of all the languages you speak. Well, I'm fluent in English, and then Esperanto, and then I know a little bit of French, let's say. So you write all the ones that you're fluent at and then working on. And you see all the other name tags, you walk around the room, you're not allowed to use your native language, and you're not allowed to use Esperanto, but you can speak the other languages. You can speak to them in that French that you know. They look at your name tag and go, oh, okay, he speaks English fluently. I'm French and I'm trying to learn English. So you can be spoken to in your native language, but you can't speak in your native language. So that gives more people a chance to try dabbling out and branching out in new ways. So that is alligatorejo, and ejo por alligatori. Now these next two, actually before I get there, I also want to point out, just for trivia's sake, in English, and just in general, what's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? How can you tell them apart? What's the difference? One way that I use is, think about the nose shape, right? Which one has a V-shaped pointy nose and which one has a rounder U-shaped nose? You think about crocodile, C is for crocodile, and A is for alligator, right? just remember this. It's the opposite. So the crocodile with a C has the pointy nose, whereas the alligator with a pointy A has the more curved U-shaped nose. Just remember that and you'll be doing all right. Also, think about this, crocodental. Crocodiles have interlaced teeth, so you see more of them. So crocodile has more of a toothy grin, whereas alligators have an overbite, kind of like we do. My front teeth come in front of my bottom teeth, so you usually see more of front teeth in a human smile than you would see the bottom teeth. Similarly, alligators, you're only going to see their top teeth really overhanging there, whereas crocodiles, it's evenly matched. So you see both sets, and it looks like they have more teeth. Okay, so that's the difference between alligators and crocodiles. Now, let's get into the nitpicky stuff. So the next two, I would say, kind of fall under the umbrella term of alligatoring, but if you want to really nitpick, there's more specific ways in which to alligator, such as to kajmani or to Cayman. To Cayman is to speak a third language to a non-native speaker of it. For example, an Englishman speaking Spanish to a Frenchman. The Englishman and the Frenchman, both of them, it's their third language is Spanish. They're really not great at Spanish, but they're trying it. So that would be an example of to Cayman. Whereas an Englishman speaking Spanish to an Hispanic person who is fluent in Spanish, that would be alligatoring. Do you see the difference? It's subtle, it's negligible. I don't even know why we need to justify a separate language, a separate verb for this, but I'm glad in a way that we do because I now know what a caiman is. I didn't know what a caiman was before I started researching this. A caiman is it's very closely related to an alligator. It has similar jawline and all that, but it has a shorter face to it. It doesn't have as long of a face as an alligator does, and they're a little bit more agile than alligators are. So that's a caiman. And another way to remember, it's similar to alligatori. Remember, alia means another, so it's another language. So alligatori. Kajmani, think about this. Kai means and. So mi parolas Esperanton kai aliajn lingvojn. I speak Esperanto and other stuff. So this requires knowledge of other languages to do. Another thing you could do is I caiman this trip to practice more languages. I caiman this trip to do that, so I'm going to practice them all, not just Esperanto. Okay? Caimano is a caiman. Next, we have one that I don't think should be on this list because the rest of them are all crocodilians, and this one isn't. But I'm going to tell it to you. It's lacerti. Lacerti means a lizard, or to lizard, speaking another planned language in an Esperanto situation. Okay, so like Edo or Volapük or something like that. So one way to remember this is LAC, or the first three letters of lacerti. So think of languages also created. Those are the ones being used when you lacerti. Kiun sejon vi volas? Which chair do you want? I ask in Esperanto, and if someone were to lacerti back to me, they might say Jeshochbe, which is Klingon for I don't care which one. Thank you, Mark Okrand, and a long and lonely sixth grade for teaching me those phrases. That is an example of lizarding. And lacerto is a lizard. I already talked about that in my other reptile video, which you can check out at your leisure. Finally, we get to the one that I'm most passionate about, and that is gaviali. To gaviali, or to gharial, means speaking Esperanto when English would be more appropriate. This I'm very passionate about. In fact, if you do it, then just remember this, gaviali. Alex will hit you with a gavel if you do this, okay? I don't like it. Ni gavialis antau la kelnero porcache mokilin. We gharialed in front of the waiter to secretly mock him. The waiter comes up, hey, what can I get you guys? Oh, you're with the Esperanto convention that's across the street? Okay, fun. What can I get you? And then if we were to just li havas strangan chemison, li surhavas tion, ho ho ho. I'm making fun of his shirt? What is this? Like, in front of him? So he doesn't even understand what I'm saying? No, don't do this. That would be gharialing, and it's not good. So, yeah, I am brought back in my mind to this story that I don't think I'll ever forget. I was helping a friend of a friend move her stuff out of her apartment, it was summertime, college had just wrapped up, and so she was going home for a few months. And I helped her for like 2 hours straight. Me and my buddy Jonathan, we moved her stuff into her parents' van, and then her parents took us out for frozen yogurt. We were at the frozen yogurt shop, and she started doing sign language to her parents, and they sign language back at her, and they started laughing about something. I'm like, what is going on here? I knew from 2 hours of working with them that they weren't deaf or anything. They didn't need to use sign language. It wasn't like that was their native language that was more fluently able to understand. No, they learned it for kicks and giggles as like a hobby. And they were just using it to have an inside joke that my friend and I couldn't understand. I'm like, well, you guys are taking us out to say thank you for helping you guys pack up. I have other things I could do on a Saturday, thank you very much. Why are you excluding me? It wasn't like a table next to us of eavesdroppers that we were trying to like not, bring into this. You're just choosing a language that you're hoping I don't know so that you can... Is this about me, or what is going on? If this is so funny, let me know what's up. And if it's not that funny, then wait 20 minutes so, we're all say goodbye, and then you can talk about it on your long ride home to wherever you live. I was just pissed off at this. I remember thinking to myself, if I ever learn another language, other than English, I will not do this. I will never use some ability of mine, like learning another language, to exclude others from a conversation just to be rude. I won't do it. And so when I saw this in the list of like, oh my goodness, yeah, there's a verb for that in Esperanto. Now, it's not commonly known. Most people wouldn't know, everyone knows crocodiling, but gharialing? What? I'm not one for language reform. Hey, let's inject a new pronoun into Esperanto. No. Let's let Esperanto be what it is. But if I can advocate for one thing, I would say be aware of what gharialing is and don't do it, okay? If you're learning Esperanto from this channel, then please, as a favor to me, or as a thank you to me, or just out of respect for me, do not use the tips I'm giving you to turn Esperanto into some weapon for being petty or in a way to bully someone by not letting them in on what you're talking about when they are sitting right there with you, okay, and are in the same room with you. Don't do that, all right? Pisses me off. And so, yeah, that is what gaviali means. Gavialo means a gharial, and a gharial is kind of like a crocodile or an alligator, except it has a very thin mouth, the thinnest of all of them, and it has the adult males, once they reach sexual maturity, they develop this bulbous, they call it a nasal boss at the end of their nose. And I think it's for like resonance, maybe for mating calls or something like that. But it has this one's really ugly, but just to help you remember which one it is, think of the big G as sort of being this bulbous boss puffy thing at the end of the nose there, okay, if that helps you. So that is what a gharial is. Check them out. They live in India. They're endangered, so enjoy them while we have them. Those are your reptile words: krokodili, alligatori, cajmani, lacerti, and gaviali. Just remember, ne gavialu. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day. I'm sorry. This is a video about crocodiles, so that was not a good ending. This is a good ending. You've heard of A Christmas Carol, right? Well, may I present A Christmas Gharial. Oh, thank you, Mr. Scrooge. It truly is a Merry Christmas because of you. This feast you provided is enormous. What's that, Tiny Tim Morley? You have something you want to say to Mr. Scrooge? Yes. Dio benunin, chiwin. Well, now, Tiny Tim, you know Mr. Scrooge doesn't speak Esperanto. Why don't you say that again, but in English? God bless us, everyone. Ne, mi nur parolas Esperanton heme. Now, listen, if it's very rude of you to speak Esperanto in front of someone who doesn't speak it. Now, would you please say something to him in English, or be quiet? Minne silentos. Oh, no, you listen here. Wait, Mr. Scrooge. Wait. No. Did you see that? He left. He took the turkey with him. And he's not going to pay for your medication. Do you know what that means? Mi Venus? Mm-hmm. And? Mi Phalos? And? mortos. Exactly. And that is why we do not gharial in front of our guests, or, if you prefer, negavialu antau la gastoi. The end.